What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Columbus Wired Wednesday at the Woody. I am Andy Evans,
I'm Drew Sample.
and we are here, Drew, for the week.
We're here. The
This
big week.
is the big week that
Two-
we have all been waiting for.
2 versus 3, like we thought it would be
Two,
on Sunday's show.
We talked about the potential
It would juice up the
number
rankings.
2 versus number 3, and indeed that's what we're going to get when the undefeated 5-0 Ohio State Buckeyes travel to Eugene to take on the third-ranked undefeated 5-0 Oregon Ducks in Outson Stadium, better known as the Zoo.
The zoo.
The Zoo. They call it the Zoo. Apparently, the place is nuts. I've never been there. He doesn't care.
I don't care.
Yeah. So, but should we care about what
We
this
should
Ohio
care.
State team is going to see this coming Saturday? Your thoughts, Drew?
I was really confident with what every single player was saying.
And we had some good
We had some
interviews.
good interviews. We had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. We're going to see if we can get them fixed.
But we got most
Ryan
of
Day,
them. Ryan Day.
Lathan Ransom, Denzel Burke, G. Scott, Cody Simon, Brandon Ennis, and the last one of the night potentially could have been the most interesting. That was when we had technical
Josh
difficulties on,
Fryar.
but hopefully we're going to get that rectified and bring it to you. But even if we don't, I'm sure you're going to be able to see it out there somewhere. And
I already
it's
retweeted it. Our buddy
probably
Dylan Davis retweeted out a video.
probably going to be all over the place
People are going to be
because
talking
of
about
what
this.
he said. And we probably shouldn't start out with this, but we're already launching into it. What did he say? Tell
called-
everybody what kind of crazy nonsense did we hear? Josh Fryar, a the starting offensive
He's a
tackle.
fifth, I thought he was a 6-year.
Fifth, sixth, whatever. He's experienced
He's
because he said
He's
experience
very
a
experienced.
number of times throughout his interview.
Well,
here
we're
tonight.
gonna bury the lead, and so first off, Denzel Burke, super excited.
Okay, we're not
going
going to talk about Josh Fryar. We're going to bury
We're
the
gonna
lead.
finish. We're gonna finish.
Oh, we're
with
going
it.
to finish. Okay, all right, we're going to keep everybody hanging.
We're gonna keeping him hanging. Maybe I used the wrong term, but anyway.
No, that's burying the lead.
Denzel Burke, super jacked about this game.
Yeah.
Super stoked. He remembers freshman year playing Oregon and losing at home.
Yeah, here.
He talked about that. Cody Simon talked about that.
Yeah.
G. Scott, he talked about that.
Yeah.
He also talked about how everybody just believes in Will Howard. And like I told Andy before Josh Fryar came out, I was like, I think Will Howard's gonna have a big game. These guys are really amped behind him. They think it's like everybody's like, we're ready for this moment. We're ready to see what this pressure does to us. You know, pressure turns coal into diamonds. And then Josh Fryar comes out.
Completely.
And we had to
shat
wait.
upon.
We had to wait. We had to wait on Josh Fryar. They were looking for him. They couldn't find him. They knew he was in the building. So he comes out. And he's talking about everybody's saying how they can't wait to play on prime time.
Oh, yeah.
They want the attention.
Yeah.
They love the attention. And then, what do we hear? We hear a certain somebody, a Mr. Josh Fryar, stumbling over his words. I like Josh Fryar personally. I know a lot of people are going to bury him over this, which we kind of are. I like him. I was actually just talking about like how happy I am whenever he comes out, because he always seems like really grateful to be here. You know, like he has a lot of grace and gratitude, but man, he puts his foot in his mouth, because he proceeds to say how he doesn't want to play in prime time because then everybody sees him mess up. He thinks the guy he's going against.
And let's say that his thought process, like, at least last year, was that he didn't really like playing in prime time because when you mess up, everybody sees it. It's going to be all over the place. You're going to hear about it. This year, though, he said he's really trying to embrace playing in front of large crowds, and
that's what he was trying to say, but that's not really how it came out.
It's not going to come off that way.
It's not how it came out. It's not how it's going to come off.
No.
He also said the guy he was playing against, because they lead with, what have you been doing to prepare for, what's this monster's name?
God, I can't remember, but yeah, he's big guy.
He's like their biggest defensive
like
player.
6'6", 280 or
and
something crazy.
he says he's scary.
Yeah, he called him scary.
He called him scary.
He called him scary. So
Man.
yeah, Josh Fryar kind of came out and put an interesting capper on what was otherwise. I mean, that though was the most interesting interview of the night. Although there were others. And one of the things that G. Scott said that I found interesting was that in Brandon Ennis too, or no, I'm sorry, Cody said,
Simon.
yeah, that they really got more focused about practices heading into the Iowa game, and that it's kind of rubbed off now. Even this week, they're more focused, like in their practice, like the intensity level is ramping up, and I found that interesting. So if what we saw out of them between Michigan State and Iowa, and it was virtually the same game because they started off slow against Michigan State, they came back second half, started off slow against Iowa,
and then they
came back second half, and we had actually a buddy of ours, Mr. Jeremy Royer. I'm throwing out another shout out to our boy Jeremy. He made a comment on YouTube that he is afraid that these slow starts are going to come back to haunt Ohio State. And I'm sure a lot of other Buckeye fans out there feel the same way. Do you think, is it hearing Cody Simon say, we ramped up the intensity last week before the Iowa game, yet the Iowa and Michigan State game were virtually the same. So if they were practicing not as intense going into Michigan State, but they ramped up that intensity for Iowa, and now they're practicing more intense, does that kind of make you feel better, worse, or you're just kind of like, hey, whatever, I don't care. I think Ohio State's still going to get the job done, like you said during Sunday's podcast.
Yeah, personally, I think as long as, they can't establish a run game, which nobody's been able to establish a run game against us.
They're a different style of running.
Yeah, but still, it's like the biggest thing was how good is Oregon's defense? How good? I mean, we don't know how good either team is, and we're going to see. They get the home field advantage, which it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's OSU's second road game, and it's against number 3. So I was really, I honestly was really confident up until Josh Fryar.
Did Josh Fryar really kill your confidence?
He kind of shook my confidence, man.
I wouldn't say that he shook my confidence.
He's playing a pretty big role, and he's defending a pretty key player.
This is true. I will say that hearing him say what he said, I kind of was like, that didn't sound good.
No.
That did not sound good.
No.
So,
but it's also, he's just kind of an aloof dude. He's just like,
he's kind of happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, he's improved quite a bit this season.
The entire offensive line.
Yeah, and I think that we've already leaked out. We heard some people in here talking about how overrated Oregon's defense is. So we're gonna see. And I think bottom line is, if we get the ball and we run the ball and they can't stop it, we control the clock. Our defense, if they can make plays again, if they can take the ball away, we're gonna win.
I think that's the biggest thing is that Ohio State's offense has to control the ball, has to run the ball effectively to keep the ball out of Oregon's offense's hands, because Oregon has one heck of an offense.
Yeah. So I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be – I don't think OSU –
Spread's what, 3.5?
Yeah. So I think OSU covers the spread.
Okay.
I think they win.
I think the over-under's around 50 or something, 53, 54 or something like that. I think that's the last I heard was that it's around 53.5.
You're better at predicting the over-under. I'm going to say OSU.
Really.
Man, I think OSU wins 28-14.
Okay. Ooh, 2 touchdowns in the zoo.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
2 touchdowns.
And I think it's going to be a nice stamp on OSU. I mean, they should. If they're as good as they're supposed to be, they should beat Oregon by 14.
They should, yeah. Obviously, if the spread's only 3.5 and they beat them by 14, that's a healthy win as far as I'm concerned. Hell, I would say anything more than 10 points, I think, is a healthy win for Ohio State.
I think it's a healthy win.
I think it's a healthy win, period. A win is a win in this game.
I think they're gonna win. I think
What scares you most about Oregon?
Right now, Josh Fryar's matchup.
he's gonna keep.
That's it. That's it. I mean, he gave me a lot to be worried about.
Okay.
I'm usually not worried at all.
You are not a big worrier. I'm the worrier.
But I was sitting there uploading videos and like just casually listening. And then I was like, wait,
well,
did
do
he
you
just
think
say
that statement is maybe pervasive amongst some of the other guys? Like is that kind of your fear? Like, well, if he's thinking that way, there could be other dudes on the team that are thinking that way too.
I mean, hopefully he gets made fun of for it and it's no big deal and he has a great game and it's something he can laugh about. But man, like, to say I'm scared to play on prime time, it's like, dude, you play for Ohio State. Everybody's going to be critical of you no matter what time because everybody watches. Yeah. We all watch. It's. I mean, that's what the Buckeye Nation does. Yeah. So like, there's gonna be a lot of other viewers, but it's like, nobody else is gonna be as mean to you as Ohio State fans are. To be honest, for Josh
your
Fryar,
own fans.
Everybody's gonna watch it. I mean, like nobody else is gonna be critical of you except for the people that are already watching it. So to be like, oh, it's a night game, and then you hear like, it's like Denzel Ward is like.
Well, it's kind of weird because it's a night game, but it's not a night game.
Yeah, but I'm not Denzel Ward. Denzel Burke is just excited to
Denzel Washington. Him too.
Denzel Washington too. Yeah, his son did play in the NFL briefly. David Watt, whatever his name is, but. Yeah, so Denzel Burke is talking about, like, this is going to be my game. Like, this is where I stand out. This is where people see who I am. Yep. And then you have just a contrast of, well, I hope nobody watches me make a mistake.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's pretty much what he was saying.
It's pretty much what it sounds like. I'm seriously sitting here dumbfounded. Usually we're on here having a great time, joking around. I'm just like, I can't believe he just said that. Like, why would he talk like that?
Well, let me tell you what. If Ohio State and Josh Fryar can, put aside all their nerves about playing in a huge primetime matchup. I mean, game day's going to be there. I believe the big noon kickoff's going to be. I mean, everybody's going to be there.
It's the biggest game of the season since Bama, Georgia.
Oh yeah, this could potentially be even bigger. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't doubt that it beats the ratings. Yeah. I mean, Big Ten and especially Ohio State. Dude,
and it's an old. Yeah, I mean, it's also like an old school Rose Bowl matchup. Like these two teams would normally play. And like the championship, they won their league, just like.
And I think that's part of the allure of this game is that Oregon's the newbie in the Big Ten and going up against the old Big Ten, stalwart in Ohio State. Yeah. But if Ohio State, once again, if they can effectively run the ball, they need to put some pressure on Dillon Gabriel because he can move around. The one thing that I was kind of happy to see, if you remember me, I just said, if you remember me, because I just received a weird text from an unknown number that said, "Hey, do you remember me?"
You remember me?
Popped up on the screen.
We're throwing off this game.
Oh my God, no doubt.
That's how it's the Josh Fryar effect.
It is the Josh Fryar. We're gonna call this the Josh Fryar effect.
Dylan.
It's just
what's the guy's name for Oregon?
Dillon Gabriel. Yeah. They just need to put pressure on him, and they need to effectively run the ball. But what I was saying was the one thing that gave me a little bit of confidence is that you saw him throw 2 interceptions last weekend against Michigan State, and they ended up, beating Michigan State handily. But
wasn't as dominant as we were against
Michigan State. Was basically his worst game of the season. I mean, second least amount of yards thrown. He did have 2 touchdowns, but he threw 2 picks, including one in the red zone at his own goal line. That was a huge gaffe on his part. So
to me, Oregon's offense hasn't played a defense as close as good as Ohio State's.
No, and that's the thing. And I was going to say, that was against the Michigan State defense.
And then I also think OSU. I think Iowa's defense is probably better than Oregon's.
Okay. So. Well, the one thing that we talked about during the podcast on Sunday was that, Oregon got off to a slow start. Ohio State kind of got off to a little I don't think a slow start as Oregon did, but they have gotten off 2 slow starts in those games, but they've ended fast. The thing is, to Jeremy Royer's point, can they start slow and finish fast against a team like Oregon? He's not so sure. So
I am. I'm sure.
You are confident that if Ohio State gets Josh Fryar and they're a little too nervous to start the game and they start slow, are they going to be able to recover?
Yeah, because I think Oregon will start slow too. I don't see Oregon throwing for 300 yards on our defensive back.
I think this is a defensive battle on both sides of the ball.
And I think our defense is better, and I think we can run the ball. So I think even if we just win by 7, I think we cover the spread. I'm saying 28-14, maybe 35-21, something like that. I think we keep a comfortable lead, and I think we take a comfortable lead because our defense puts us in the position to score in short field. We're in short territory, puts us in much like they have in bigger games before. They did it against both Iowa and I believe Michigan State. So so I just think
our defense has got to set up the offense in the short field at times.
Our defense is continuing to try to make a statement. It's been a reoccurring theme. All the defensive guys that come out here are disgusted with anything but perfection, to the point where some of the press guys are like, "I think you're being too hard on yourself." It's like, well, you're not a player trying to win a national championship.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident. I think that the whole Josh Fryar thing is still. I just don't know why you.
Folks.
I just don't know why you'd say that. But yeah, it does have me shook. I think that's it, Andy. I think we can wrap here. What do you think?
Well, I am thinking that this is going to be a low-scoring defensive battle. I think both teams are really going to be going at it, and a lot of people out there are going to go, "Oh, what's wrong with Ohio State's offense? Why do they suck right now?" Well, that's because they're playing. Not an extraordinary defense, but a team that is going to be amped up because they are the third-ranked team in the country. They have just as much to lose in this game. Plus, it's out there. It's a night game, quasi-night game. It's a 4:30 kick for them, but still the Ohio State guys, basically, mentally, physically, it's going to be like a 7:30 kickoff, right, for them because of the jet lag, because of the time change. But I think that ultimately the Buckeyes go out there, they get it done, and they just clip that 3.5 point.
So you think they cover the spread?
I think they cover the spread by literally this much, by a final score of 21-17.
All right.
So there you have it,
guys. That's it.
Thanks for hanging out with us for another Wednesday at the Woody. We, of course, will not be at the game.
No.
This weekend.
We're gonna watch the game.
We're not traveling to Eugene. Yeah, we're gonna watch it from the comfort of our couch. And
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna watch it I think at Yogi's in Dublin.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go watch it with my friend, Mr. Jeremy Royer.
Oh, you two are cute.
Yeah, I know. I really am. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care until the next time.